Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
Just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo.
Goodness, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh shit!
Are we
dude.
on?
It worked. Yes, I got it working. We are currently.
So are we recording?
Oh yeah, I'm seeing my little lines go up. I can see your voice all coming through. All well, not that nice, but hey, you know what? It's new technology, man. In that, I just learned how to use it. Therefore, it's new.
Therefore, well, hey, it's going to take a couple of years for me to even get close to doing something like that. So I'll consider it new.
Oh no, let's be real. You
Anyway.
never would figure it out.
That's
And
true.
that's
I'm not
okay.
gonna figure it out.
We've all got our role.
I'm just going to leave it to you guys. Exactly. My role is to just sit here and talk. That's all I'm trying to do.
And you know, in society, you know, it's important to have all those. And speaking of roles, yeah, shit, I got nothing. But that would have been an awesome segue if I could have ripped it in time. But we've got Mr. Geoffrey Adams back on the show for his triumphant return.
Are friggin' extra great today. I had a lot of food today at work. There's just so many food options around here. It's kind of ridiculous.
You know, I was trying to tee it up for Jeff without making it about your joke, but like that, yeah, no, that worked. That was good.
So yeah, speaking of roles,
See, it's
yeah,
hard. It's harder than it looks. God damn it.
it's a lot harder than it looks for sure to do this without being there in person. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
But
well, you
it's
know,
also-
we'll get used to it. But now that we've got the power, you know, it's just expanded everything that we can do. So this is kind of cool, man. I'm digging it. But anyways, instead of congratulating myself over figuring out how to record phone calls finally for the show, let's
Mhm.
we had a fantastic episode this week with resident spooky magician wizard. Man, I don't even know what to call him anymore because he has so many.
American clown. He's got so many things going on. It's American clown for sure, and wizard, I guess. I don't know, 'cause he does magic.
No, it's a beautiful thing. He defies any real explanation. You know, you can't really
He's
title
just
this guy.
yeah.
You can't pigeonhole him, and that's why we love him, and that's why he always comes on
just
and just
yeah.
consistently delivers that good shit.
Yeah, I like a lot about what we talk about, magic manifestation, just kind of a more detailed way on how to kind of manifest what you want. And just talking about basically like, what does it matter whether it's, magic or it's not, it's kind of just different ways that we interpret things. And I think that the intent is pretty much the biggest deal when it comes to that. And, I see that a lot of what he says is basically the way I go about a lot of things too, at least things that work. So, yeah,
And
it's really cool to hear somebody else talk about it.
And if you guys have, if people have heard him before, he consistently delivers that fun episode. So there is a bit of wading through, the concept of like pussy kazoos and Tenga eggs, kind of before we get to the real, the good advice and the ritual, tips that he tends to offer. But we do get there, and it is something
Can't forget
truly
the
to
Tenga
behold.
egg.
Oh yeah. That's our sponsor this week. Actually, it's Tenga Egg. So let's see. Jeff will he kind of lists off his things at the end there, but he'll be at the LA Convention Center for Scare LA at the end of August, and let's see, he'll be back at the Long Beach Convention Center. And shit, I did not write down what the event was, but you guys can check him out at Crude Inc. on Instagram, which is where primarily you can keep up with him, all of his adventures, and kind of find out where his art company is going to be set up at the different scare conventions to kind of, his pop culture art that he provides, or you can check him out online. And of course, we will be posting links to all that in the description of this episode. So at Crude Inc. on Instagram and Etsy. Anything else you want to shout out here?
Well, as always, just follow me on Instagram at Hoodrat Stuff with 3Fs, Psychedelic Lions Den as well, to follow all the dope-ass art of all my friends, Psychedelic_Lions_Den, and stay tuned for the next Art in the Park date that's going to be coming up real soon here. And yeah, other than that, I think that you should just subscribe to the podcast and on everything. So, get all your friends to do the same, spread it around, tell them if you want to hear two obnoxiously high and drunk people just talk about stuff that we talk about all the time, this is the place to go to. So you can find us.
Couldn't have said any better myself, man. So yeah, you can check us out on social media as well. That is at Let It Bleed Cast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You guys can check me out on Twitter at Phil Nobody Cares. Flip that around, so it's at Nobody Cares Phil for my Instagram. And I think that will do it for this brand new technological. This is one more. You hear that? That's me patting myself on the back. But of course, I'm also alone in the room, so that could have been anything.
They're going to make conspiracy theory videos about this not happening in the future.
Well, I mean, there's no real proof of it. It's a technological marvel.
Yeah.
Because I am a goddamn baby genius.
So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show. Enjoy Geoffrey as always, and as always, let it bleed.
There we go. Thanks for calling in.
A cool name. I'm sure. See, this is why I'm bad at these things, because I was trying to come up with a name for like a zine, like a little, just a little magazine, just that would go over like the culture of the community and stuff. My buddy and I were just trying to think of different names, but then I'm so out of touch with like actual companies or people doing things that like none of my ideas could ever I could, like if I think of something.
What are you talking about?
Like thinking of ideas for things where like names.
You're still saying things.
You're just saying stuff.
Like
stuff.
Like
stuff.
Like music, like name titles, names for projects, like things that you want to fucking name, and they've already been they've already been named or done like that.
I mean, if you want to put a feather in your cap, technically that means you have good ideas because someone else had them first.
Yeah, but that is kind of like. The deterrent when I was younger, like always worried that it's already been done before. That's always what I thought. Like, it's already been done before. There's no point in doing that. And then, I mean, I've gotten over that, and that's why.
That's the thing is, everything's been done before. So just slap your name on it, and make it in a vaporwave app on your phone and call it new. Like, yeah, fuck that.
Have you ever had an instance where you kind of like came up with an idea for Crude Ink that was already like done before? Or
I actually have one that's very frustrating.
Yeah, me too.
So a couple of years back before a convention, I wanted to do like a bunch of like nerdy mashup ideas, and I got this idea to do the Reservoir Dogs, but with Power Rangers helmets.
That's cool.
And there's like a whole thing with like my former business partner who is a real piece of shit that I don't necessarily need to go into. But long story short, we designed this thing, and I then stopped working with him. And then later, when I was trying to like remake the file because I ended up losing the file when I stopped working with him. I tried to remake the file, and I realized that he had almost perfectly stolen that idea from somebody else's like DeviantArt. So I came up with the idea independently.
Sure.
And then I was like, this is a great idea, let's do this. And then while he was working on it, he found that someone else made it and then just stole theirs. So for years, I was selling a stolen design and I had no idea.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
I hated it because I love the design, and
I've seen it. It's cool. Does Chris have it?
Yeah,
Chris.
Yeah, there's one in Chris's room.
So I have seen that on the internet before. And in the room. And then that was what your old partner was doing, and is that kind of like the reason why you guys had a falling out?
I mean, I stopped working with him because he was just an asshole, and like his. You know, why do you stop working with people? Because they're assholes.
Yeah.
If we made a
like...
bunch of money and everyone did their job, I wouldn't be calling him my former anything. But like,
yeah.
That's like the symptom of, you know, the problem that was at hand.
Yeah.
That's exhibit, you know, D or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember I had the idea for the Squatty Potty in like 2007.
Oh, that's
heartbreaking. And I fucking like wrote it out and stuff like that, but I was like, what am I doing? I'm like 18. I don't like invent shit. And then like smash cut to 10 years later. And it's like, oh my god, I see unicorns like pooping onto the thing.
Yo, I
just
used
like,
a Squatty Potty yesterday.
Yeah.
You idiot.
I'm like, what if we just
Wait,
got
so
like,
what
exactly
is
like,
the
little,
Squatty
like,
Potty one more
thing?
time?
Oh,
You
you
know
don't
what
know
a
about the
Squatty Potty
Potty?
is?
No.
We had the exact same reaction to that. That's
Dude.
weird. That's weird.
I'm sorry.
Do you guys use the Squatty Potty?
I use I don't own one, but like my girlfriend has one at her house.
So is it like the Shiwi thing?
I don't know what that is.
No.
No,
like,
the Shiwi is like a funnel
That's
you
like
hold
a-
over your pussy so
yeah,
you can
it's
pee
like
in
a
public.
it's like a pussy kazoo.
Yeah,
like
it's
a-
you know what? That's exactly what it
Pussy
is.
kazoo.
And I think that if you sold
You know what? If I just had the same concept, but you know, gave it like, you know, I'm like, oh, there's like a little like whistle thing on the side there. Boom, like you could.
I'm
sell
gonna
it.
be
And
honest.
that's
I think you could
selling it.
sell any product called the Pussy Kazoo.
I
and
think
make
that'd be a
$1
great
billion.
like punk name, a punk band name.
I think we've
Pussy
already got
Kazoo.
the name.
Yeah,
of
that's
this,
the
the
no.
title of this episode.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think we've already got
Pussy
that
Kazoo.
nailed down. We're 4
Well, we
minutes
did
in, so
just
I
come
think we're
from the
off to a good
Kazulu
start.
Mountain Jam.
We did come from the Kazulu Mountain
I was
Jam.
too drunk to actually declare a winner of any of the contests that never took place because we were just fucking around so much. It was definitely one of those things where like I was at home prepping. I'm like, okay, this year it's gonna be great. I'm like putting necklaces, making these motherfuckers into necklaces, like fucking even trying to paint them and shit.
He's
Getting
got
all
like a
crazy
bracket
with
sheet
it.
ready to go.
And then like literally
It's like
before
a Final Four.
before fucking the sun went down both days, I was blacked out, and that's just how it went.
You know, everyone got thrashed.
Yeah, it was it was a weekend, that was
Yeah.
for sure. But man, I just woke up and the side of my hip was just fucking bruised as fuck. You know, just hurting. Like,
What did you
I
do?
must have fallen on the rocks apparently.
Oh yeah.
I
What
was
just
up
happens
there.
when you turn 31?
Yeah,
You just wake up and your hip is bruised. You're just like, I don't know.
it's already.
Don't do that. I turned 30 a couple of months ago, and I know it's all going downhill.
It really
You
is
old
not
fucks.
though. It's not like I mean
Emotionally,
No,
and better than I've ever been.
I've got to
Yes.
rub it in while I can.
Well,
I
then-
could-
So it sounds like you're exactly where I was last year, or even just more recently. And remember when we talked about all that stuff, and you know, physically and because like emotionally, yes, you're you know growing and you're learning and you're enjoying it all, but you're like, fuck, I wish I could just stay up a little bit later without fucking feeling like I have to go to the ER tomorrow morning. You know,
Yes,
like,
exactly.
I wish like all of those things, but then like today, I even made this like long, you know, like sappy post about it on Facebook earlier that like I fucking just woke up for some reason today, like the day after my 31st birthday, and just felt, and it probably is the fucking, you know, Mercury retrograde and lunar eclipse and Bigfoot and all that other shit too.
It's definitely
But, yeah.
Bigfoot.
Yes, definitely Bigfoot. But it fucking felt like I was just 100 pounds off. I just felt super energized. It was amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that like, one of the things I like most about getting older is, I'm more emotional, but in like what I feel like is a grown up way. Like, because like when you're younger, you're a lot more emotional and you don't have to have any control over it. And then a lot of people, I think, go through that phase where they just try to cut out all emotions. They're like, well, I don't know how to stop crying uncontrollably. Or I don't know how to stop being mad all the time, so I'm gonna try and like have no emotions.
I'm gonna make this face for the next 30 years.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grimace. I'm just gonna scowl until I just look like fucking Walter White, and that'll be the rest of my life.
There
But, like,
certainly are so many people
Generations
that are
went
like
on,
that.
and now we all Hamburglar. So
exactly. But like, no, I've gotten older, and like now I like super in touch with all of my feelings, and like I'm able to like cry at movies like unabashedly.
It's called
like
estrogen, bro.
it's
It's called a lack of testosterone. Like, it is definitely a fact. It's something that's happening, like, with fucking males. Like, just, it's the way that we're moving. Like, younger kids have less testosterone. You know why? Technology. All of the fucking gadgets and video games that prevent them from going outside and playing at a young age. It's just...
that sounds like something I would have heard from like Ben Shapiro, and I want to fact check that. You know,
Go ahead,
I don't
yeah.
know what that one.
Go ahead.
like-
Go look at how many fucking young teenage boys have tits and they're not even fat.
I mean, I feel like that's
Estrogen, bro.
There could
Lack
be
of
something
testosterone.
there.
From what? For like not standing for the national anthem? Like,
No, it's because they literally are not getting out and fucking playing and being active. It's a fucking thing. And then all of the food that they eat as well, all of the fucking bad, like all of the chemicals that are in the food.
I will give that. You know, but
Sure.
Yeah, it's because kids look at their phone too much. I'm like, what?
Okay,
no,
well,
bullshit.
maybe the
That
way I
does
said
not-
that.
Yeah, the phones are turning the friggin' kids gay.
doesn't give you tits.
I should have
Like,
prefaced.
out of here.
I mean,
I
Facebook
should've-
might give you tits.
I should have prefaced that by saying that I was doing a lot of research about this earlier in the year, and I just left out a bunch of information, days and days of information that I just fucking was watching and reading all of these fucking articles about weight loss.
Yada. Pretty important. Part
What
of
were
this.
you Googling? Why do I have tits? I'm feeling lucky.
No, it's when my gut was just like, and still to this day, you know, it's gut health was
It's like
the
one of
biggest
those
thing.
like, things where they're like, share this like 900 times, like if you don't want to have tits, or, like, if you think
No, it fucking, it's, you know, my gut was just really wreaking havoc, you know, the bacteria in there and everything. And like, was researching all these things because there's so many different fucking people trying to tell you that it's this way or it's this way and it's this what you need to get rid of. It's just so back and forth. But after watching all of these different movies and you know, tutorials on fucking nutrition and everything, you kind of narrow out the bullshit and you start to see what's common between all of them. Okay, like this is real and this is true. And that was definitely one of the things that the doctors were talking about, especially, you know, obviously with males, you know,
People are eating too much goddamn soy because it's subsidized by the government, so it ends up in everything. And soy ups the amount of estrogen in your body. Look it up. Stop farm subsidies, people.
Yes, thank you. Jesus Christ, you can stop with like corn and soy.
Subsidies
No, I
are
agree.
bullshit. The government is really good at fucking subsidies.
Damn.
Makes me fucking crazy.
Oh man, I'm with you on that one.
Farm subsidies are like the government breaking your leg and then giving you the crutch and then saying, man, isn't it great the government's here to help you walk? I stole that from something, but you know, my libertarianism is fucking flaring up.
It's very apt this week, you know.
Well, you know,
So the government's giving us tits. Go on, Dave.
Yeah.
and they're making the frogs gay.
Obviously, they're making the friggin' frogs gay.
Well, so that was the idea. But what were we talking about? We were talking about before we went off on that tangent.
You know what?
I don't think you could say we. You went off on that tangent.
No, you
Usually I
sidetracked
have
me.
good
You
notes
just
here.
denied the factual stuff that I was spewing out without any evidence, and that's a problem. That's problematic, dude.
Usually I have notes that like help me remind us like what we just talked about, but all I have is what's in a name, squatty potty, pussy kazoo.
Okay, yeah.
and
So
Facebook
you
is
never
your tits.
explained exactly what a squatty potty was to me.
I was
Okay.
trying to.
I know. We
So-
went off on the tit tangent.
A squatty potty is it's like a plastic thing.
It's like a
that-
step stool.
Yeah, that like you sit on your toilet and you put your legs in. They're like almost kind of like stirrups, you know. But it puts your body into like a more ergonomic like way.
Have
to
you
shit.
used one yet?
I actually have not.
Yo, I'm telling you, you'd have made $1 billion.
Damn.
It is great fucking dropping a deuce with one of those.
Damn.
It's so great.
It's like worth
Have
its
you?
weight in shit. Or like
No?
gold. No, wait. Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking incredible. Yeah, it's so like imagine this is not going to be good radio, but I'm just doing
love it, though.
I'm doing a visual for David. So imagine you have a stool in the front of your shitter that brings your feet up to here.
You know,
Okay.
you know,
And
like
the
when they have
reasoning
those-
behind that is that it's like I don't know, it unfucks the kinks in your guts so you can just drop a deuce better. And I don't know.
So it's like
how-
putting a
If I give
pillow
the audio-
under a girl's back so that when you're boning her, it just like...
yeah.
That's inappropriate, David.
Yeah.
It's a family.
I
show.
made a pop
What are you
sound.
doing?
It didn't even say anything. I just
That's
said...
gross. No,
That's-
he made like furious
This
eye
is not
contact
intentional.
with me.
Yeah.
He stuck his tongue out. It was one of those
Oh,
fuckers.
whoa!
Oh, you call that furious?
It was gross.
Shit. What do you see what I got for
Look
you,
at that horse in
really?
here. Hey,
It was a pop sound.
what the fuck is the show about again?
I know, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
last week it's like all politics, and then this like week it's like, well, it probably wasn't last week, but with the last show they listened to is like all politics, and this time it's like talking about fucking squatty potties.
This is real shit,
We're up to a
okay?
good start.
Yeah.
Man,
What's that?
I don't know. I don't know anymore, man.
Squatty potties. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
It's great, dude.
Yeah.
So let's just take a hard L and let's get spooky in here, man. What are you here for this weekend?
Oh, I am working at a convention called Midsummer Scream at the Long Beach Convention Center.
Sweet. I just was like, because this girl fucking was showing me that she was working on some haunted house there, painting it. And then she's like, I'm at Midsummer Scream. And I'm like, a loser, and didn't know what that was. I was like, what is that? And she's like, I'm fucking lame. And you're here. So I know that it's cool.
Yeah. Aww.
Yeah.
Aww.
So now I know. Now I know she's not just some. I know she's not just some
That's
loser.
my soundboard.
No, it's no. Your friend is not a loser, and if you were cool, you'd be going this weekend.
If I was cool, I'd be going lots of places. But I'm going to work because I'm not cool. I'm fucking lame.
Wah wah.
Yeah, but we have a new gallery, and it's really cool. You guys can come check it out.
I'll come by and check it out.
Yeah, sure.
The fucking. Oh man, the convention is going to be rad as shit. It's I think it's kind of on the smaller side. I think it's going to have like 25,000 attendees, so not a huge convention.
Is it tomorrow and Sunday?
Yeah, tomorrow and Sunday.
Oh, cool.
And I think there's like 100 different like spooky ooky vendors, and it's taking up 2 halls at the Long Beach Convention Center. So one hall is all spooky vendors, like artists, people who make like weird soaps.
And when you say spooky, what is that range? Like, is it like from like just like little knickknacks of ghosts all the way to like really gory, some shit?
We are 100% coming back to whatever the fuck a spooky soap is, but I'm sorry, continue.
Okay, I'll come back to spooky soaps.
I cannot let you just say that and we move on. That's not how this works.
If your like horror aesthetic stems from like 50-year-old like paper cutout decorations that your grandmother would have put up, there's people selling stuff that you're into there. But if your horror aesthetic is you thought that Hereditary was kind of mild, there's shit there for you too.
Okay.
It's the fucking best. It's all I love scary stuff.
Somebody just fucking like came in their pants and like, oh shit,
I love scary stuff.
reference. Oh my god. Yeah.
Nice.
But so spooky soaps. I want to give my friend's company a shout out, and I can't. I'm blanking on it right now. It's like Hellflower or something like that, and she makes these.
God damn, it's a good name.
It's a real, and they're great fucking soaps because she does like all these fancy like artisanal soaps that it's like smell amazing. But she'll do one that's blood red and then put these little wax vampire teeth in it.
That's dope.
And she does one that's like a gray activated charcoal one and then has like a little wax tombstone sticking out of the top of it. And then she's got this big lovely bouquet of like cock-shaped soaps with suction cups on the bottom so you can attach them to your mirror. And
wait, I think I've seen that before. It's one of like the greatest, like, you know, I used to love like way before Vine. I used to love like 5-second YouTube videos. I remember one being like somebody had it was a sink and they had a cock shaped soap like just next to it, and then they put their hands in there, and then to get the soap they just like just a little bit. Yeah.
You just jack it a little bit, man.
Hands. I was like, that is amazing. You're just like, you're bringing me back to my childhood right now, man. That's amazing.
They're super fucking great, and the soaps smell amazing. I fucking pick some up every time.
That actually makes me very
not just the cocks either. Don't be so surprised, Dave.
So I was gonna be like, what are you gonna bring me back?
I mean,
I think you just gave it away.
You get
no.
You get cock soap, bud.
Dude,
it's cock soaps all the way down. It's, like, you ever just decide one year for Christmas, like, everyone's getting this one thing and I'm not leaving the house for another 29 days?
Yeah, no, like, I discovered that like a couple years ago. Like, I can just come up with one funny idea and then I'm done. Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna get a fucking, like, everyone's gonna get, like, an edible arrangement of cock soap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That would be pretty good. Probably better than the gift I got gifted on my birthday, actually, this year by Amber and Dave. I don't know if you saw that. But they gifted me one of those fucking, it was a sex gag, like a sex toy gag thing.
Oh, wait, yeah. You told me about this.
Yeah. And they fucking gave me a pocket pussy.
Oh, is it like a legit pocket pussy?
Dude,
or are they
it
just
looks
with
like a fucking deal. Yeah, no, it's a legit one. Like, they bought it from like a thing that, but it's like supposed to be like modeled after one of the porn stars, Tory Black. And it's
I'm not familiar with her work.
Well, you know, it's supposed to be modeled. I don't know, like if they went and made a mold from her vagina and apparently made this thing, but it looks like from the outside really weird. It looks like a big fat dildo that was like in the sun, or at least like melted to an extent, so it looks like super fat, like up from the outside of it. You know, it's just like this like fucking
looks like a melted
weird, like it's weird, dude. Like you pick it up, it's fucking weird. And you're like, what the fuck is that?
I'm just wondering if there's like a a quality assurance person or somebody who's like out there to like verify if there's like an FDA for like
right,
like the marketing that's put on the side of like a pocket pussy.
Dude,
I mean, there might be. There could be like a Better Business Bureau, but exclusively for fuck toys.
A really perverted fucking crazy guy that's a lawyer that's just gonna go like, find some fucking case.
I think the Venn diagram of crazy perverts and lawyers is like a perfect circle. So
it's there we go.
I don't know about that one.
Man, they could have at least gotten you like a less scary fuck toy.
What's scary about it though?
Because what you're describing sounds like a fucking.
It's just no. I haven't really like.
It sounds like a plot from John Carpenter's The Thing. Like,
it does sound like a monstrosity that like should not like.
Yeah,
be there. It's it's like a blobfish or something like that. Like,
yeah,
that's what's in my head right now.
Here, I got you this silicone Lovecraftian horror. Put your dick in it when I'm not around.
I can't think of any type of like sex toy or anything without just automatically going to the plumbus. Like I don't even know what a plumbus actually is, but that's what I think
from
about.
Rick and Morty.
The plumbus, yeah, the fucking.
Yo, you need to get a Tenga egg, man.
What the fuck is that?
I'm gonna school your ass on
a Tenga egg.
Is that like a jade egg?
No. So a jade egg is like for like doing kegels and shit, right?
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so a Tenga egg. Fucking put on that. Yeah, you need to
put your learning hat on, kids. We're about to do some fucking science.
You better go home and put on your daddy's shoes because this is a grown man's podcast.
This ain't your daddy's pocket pussy.
So a Tenga egg. A Tenga egg. It's so sleek. It's like if Apple designed a men's fuck toy. It's this little silicone.
If Apple designed it.
It's this little silicone egg, okay, and it's hollow on the inside and textured, right? And like there's a bunch of different textures. Like there's like the one that's like shaped like spider webs, and it's all to give you like different kind of sensation and shit. And you put lube on the inside of this egg, and then you put the egg over the head of your dick, and because it's silicone, it stretches all the way down your dick while you jack it with it. So it's essentially the whole like giant monster pocket pussy you got, but it's an egg. And I swear to God, it's so good.
So it's like
a fucking nerd's fucking thing. Like they're like, oh my God, this is such fucking fine technology. Like while they're jerking.
Yeah, dude, I swear to God, it's the fucking Tesla Model 3 of fucking jerking off.
You had me rock hard at spider webs. So
exactly.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's
I don't know
so
how you
good,
can say no
I had to stop using it.
Oh man,
because it was ruining my ability to jerk off regularly.
Where did you buy that thing? Because it doesn't sound like a regular like porn shop with fucking...
No, you can get this in like every fucking sex shop. It's like $15.
And if you use the promo code Let It Bleed
if you use promo code Let It Bleed,
yeah,
you could try it for free. Returns, no questions asked.
Oh, but yeah, they don't. In fact, they get fired if they ask any questions. And you get arrested if you answer them. No, this shit's amazing. I'll hook you up, man.
Dude, I'm good on that. Unless it's brand new one, maybe I'll try it. Who knows?
We're that much closer. We got fucking Tenga eggs in VR.
Tenga
like,
egg.
Yeah, the human race is like this is the solution.
The future is now, old
man.
Oh my God, that's crazy. You were an explorer, my friend. You've seen some things.
I've been around a little bit.
We're pretty good, but the one thing that we can't do is segue out of a Tenga egg conversation into something, something normal again.
We don't need to arrive there right now. We can arrive there whenever we want.
I've arrived 3 times.
Wizards are never late. They're always on time and arrive precisely when they mean to. And that's where we're going to put the magic part of this conversation into motion right now.
I feel like you've used that line on somebody before.
Can we have like a really brief round of applause for that segue? Well done. Man. All right, let's talk magic, David.
No, really, that was impressive.
All right, what are we on, David?
Well, I don't know. He just said you were going to come talk about magic, and so I know we talked about it before. But
I fucked up your segue. I'm sorry.
You said you wanted to, last time you told me you wanted to talk more in depth about, some other shit that...
Let's talk about some magic shit. Okay. What have I been doing lately? Lately, I've been doing divination, which is fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Explain.
So I've been reading my own fortunes and shit.
Huh.
Yeah. You can tell I take this very seriously.
I'm actually taking it quite seriously.
I grew up around like tarot cards and shit like that. Like my mother would like do tarot readings for money and shit. Oh, there's a deck right over there.
Yep.
Adorbs.
That's hers.
Hell yeah.
Bet you're missing a couple. Looks a little shy.
What?
The fuck does that mean?
Somebody check his butt cheeks.
I don't have any sleeves, but I'm telling you, I know my decks, man.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Fuck, David. So, where the fuck was I?
Divination.
Divination, yeah. So I've been doing divination lately. And so because I grew up around tarot cards and I don't like have like the same sort of like mystical connection to it because it was just a thing my mom did.
Sure.
I've been like searching for my own way of reading my own fortune, and I finally found it.
Okay.
And it hits all of the buttons that like perfectly matches in with like my brand of chaos magic.
Okay.
And I found this old deck of gypsy fortune telling cards. It is hokey. There's like a silhouette of a witch like, with a steaming cauldron on the front.
I like it.
It was made in like the 50s or something like that.
Dang.
And it's hokey, it's silly, it is for sure fake, and very American. And so that means it is my perfect form.
It's amazing.
It is the most me way of fucking reading my fortune ever. And I've been doing it about once a month since I fucking got this deck. And I don't...
Did it come with instructions, or you just made something up?
It came with instructions, but like the way that you do chaos magic is you kind of have to make it up as you go along too. And fucking works gangbusters. It's the fucking goddamnedest thing. And my whole attitude when it comes to magic is like, you know, maybe you did a ritual and it seemed to work. And if the ritual worked because you subconsciously changed your mind in such a way that you ended up affecting the people around you in such a way that you ended up getting what you wanted from those people.
Right.
And it's all psychology and like neurolinguistic programming and stuff like that. Or it worked because magic's real.
Yes.
Or how is that not magic?
The answer is it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right, but
because
how is that
magic's about the doing and about getting results.
Exactly. But even then, how is that not magic? Just because you can measure it a certain way doesn't mean that it like technically isn't part of magic. What if like magic and science are actually, you know, completely the same thing? It's
just, of course. Why isn't it the same thing?
I think it is.
It probably is.
I think that it is.
I'm not
just...
smart enough to say yes or no to that question, so I'm gonna say sure.
Is anybody who practices magic smart enough though to say yes or no to that question?
Probably Alan Moore, but that dude's bug nutty and like. No, have you fucking like ever listened to fucking Alan Moore talk? He's the fucking most dense. He's like, he's got this really deep voice and a really terrible English accent, and he just Kabbalah, fuck Grant Morrison. That's all he ever fucking does.
No, I can't say that I listened to it, but I'm definitely going to.
You need to go fucking find an interview with Alan Moore because he is.
Expect a lot of Alan Moore impressions already because I think I could do that deep voice.
Would you say we could expect some more of them?
I said you could expect.
We can expect Alan Moore of them.
Love a delayed fuse on that. That was
thank you.
It's that humor. I have to like step back. It's like, wait, where are we again?
But yeah, I've been doing a lot of divination with my fake made-up trading cards, and whether or not it's telling the future because I'm choosing to look at the world in a certain way because I read my fortune, or it's telling the future because magic is real. It doesn't fucking matter, does it?
It's both of them. I say it's both, and it doesn't matter, but it's both.
So when I'm on the more skeptical side of the things, one of the things I like to think about is, okay, let's say it's not working, and I'm not actually telling the future, but I am perceiving these things to happen. Well, I feel like where I'm to be more skeptical about it, part of the reason that that's happening is because the cards and my reading of them is giving me a framework with which to view the world. And everyone views the world in terms of like stories. And it's an incredibly powerful tool to give yourself a story especially when you're going through something that's weird and uncertain.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that you should just like blindly believe some kind of insane ideology and not listen to what the universe is saying.
Yes.
But if you've got a framework to look at and things to compare it to, well, then you're off to a pretty good fucking start already.
Yeah. I really love the line in Atlanta. Have you ever seen the first season?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a part where I forget the guy's name. He's in that new movie that's
You're talking about Darius.
the guy that he's
and
also
he's in that movie. Sorry to bother you.
He's sorry to bother you. Okay, so that guy, he's like kind of just making up all kinds of stuff, just saying all these things, you know, just talking out of his ass.
Stanfield, by the
being
way.
that, what's up?
Lakeith Stanfield is his name.
Lakeith Stanfield.
He's the fucking man.
Yeah.
He's Snoop Dogg. He's fucking.
He played Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, he was Snoop Dogg.
Oh, okay.
In Compton.
Okay, now.
No
Dude,
shit.
he's all over the place. We fucking love this guy. Like, we had to like look him up and be like, who is this dude? And like everything he does is fucking dope.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He is Darius. You know, like
Yeah.
that is very much it.
That guy is fucking. It seems like he's just like a funny guy to be around, but he was like just, you know, he was my favorite character for sure in Atlanta so far. I haven't seen the second season yet, but he's just hilarious. And he was saying something, I forgot what he was even saying, and Donald Glover's just like, "You just made that up."
Breakfast cup.
He's
Oh my
like,
god,
"You
yeah.
just-"
He's eating cereal out of a mug.
He's like, "You just made that up," and he's like, "Everything's made up. Stay woke."
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
I was like, "That's fucking true."
It's a pretty good way to look at the world.
Yeah, I mean, I do that often. And people are like, "You're full of shit." I was like, "Hey, in the end, when I get what I want from it, it's like hey, fuck." You know, it's kind of one of those things.
Phil, you've been playing around with magic more.
Everything is true, man. Yeah, shit. Like I've been. No, I mean, is it? I mean, I just take that like that central ideology, and then maybe it's because I'm lazy, but I'm just like, you know what? Nah, this is like how I'm choosing to see this and view this, and like and find little signs in the world, you know. And I can call that magic. Am I like really putting it down to like, you know, ritual and intention? Not always.
Would you say
But,
what's
like-
more important? Is it the intention or the ritual, or both together, or can you just set the intention and manifest something and then call that magic?
It's kind of an open question. I think that like the most important part of magic is the practice of it.
Okay.
And like when I say that, I mean like the reinforcing of the magical thought. You know, it's keeping yourself in a magical frame of mind, looking for synchronicities, looking for signs and things like that. Keep a journal, write down your dreams, stuff like that. And like you don't have to. There's no boilerplate way of practicing magic. And anyone who tells you otherwise is probably trying to make a buck off of you. But I'd say that like if your intention with magic is to just live more magically, then it's the practice of magic. And then if you decide to like make a statement of intent and perform a ritual later, your practicing of it will inform your ability to do that.
Got
Yeah.
it.
And that
And it sounds like you are like working on practicing it in the mental capacity.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Is that like it slips out of my mind that like that the idea of intention has like deeply ingrained in my psyche now to where I don't have to. It comes a second nature to me. You know, it's not something that I have to think about. But you know, when it comes to like coming up with a ritual or some kind of practice or something like that, it's I don't know. I think it's something I probably would identify if I'm even like doing that kind of unconsciously, just finding the the ritual in the day to just like have this weird. I don't know. It's so like
You could just consider it like spirituality at the same time too, just kind of like observing yourself each day and like learning like different ways to kind of make things work for you, right? Like different ways to get around it, like as we were talking about going through the process of like cleaning your room, but being mindful of like what's happening in your life.
I would say for me, I think I'm just catching up to it right now. But for me, a lot of it is like it's something that I feel, but it's not something that I articulate. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like that I understand there's a certain connection to different things and different vibes. You know, it's like being in touch with. I've referred to it as like gravity in the past before, because that's kind of like what it feels like to me. You know, understanding the different like gravitational pulls, because everything does have a pull on itself. And sometimes when I feel like I am in tune with that, that's the best way I can think of to describe it. But the whole thing is like, it's not something that you can really or at least I probably can. I just have not tried to like sit down and write a book about it.
I mean, I understand the hesitance to try to articulate it because it's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
I'm right now. One of the books I'm reading is a fucking Cosmic Trigger by Robert Anton Wilson, who is like really big in like the Psychonaut community. He's the guy who wrote like the Illuminatus trilogy and things like that.
Okay.
And there's a point that he's making about while he's talking about trying to observe this, you know, like the quantum psychological realm where like magic lives or collective consciousness lives or whatever you want to describe it as. And that's that every form of communication has static, has noise. All right. There's no way to say a thing that is understood by everyone and is also a perfect reflection of the thing you're describing. It does not exist.
Yes.
Right.
And like there's like all sorts of like different arguments for why like that is. There's like post-structuralist fucking like
There's a bunch of communications majors right now that just want like fuck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All the philosophy kids and all the communications majors are on my side right now.
Yeah.
Which has never happened before, so thank you. So it's like really hard to that was one of my big difficulties when I first started getting into magic too, because when you start like examining that inner life and what's going on like within yourself, it's super hard to articulate, and once you start to articulate it, it never quite comes out right. But
or like you said, they're not. No matter what, they're never going to receive it the way that you mean to get it out there, the way that you're feeling. Like exactly, you know. There's no.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's it's just you realize that's why like wiser people generally like don't talk as much because they're just like chill.
Could
they're
be
fucking just
There's this phrase I love to use called the menu is not the meal. So like let's say you're looking at a menu and it says bacon double cheeseburger. All right. You know what a bacon double cheeseburger is. We all do. We know what that tastes like. All right. We know what that feels like in your mouth. We know what it.
I don't know why that just.
I winked really hard at him.
I swear I'm 31, guys.
My
31.
favorite part is we just talked about how you're 31.
I know.
And I was like, oh man, I do feel that, but I'm like, nope, I'm gonna keep a super straight face just to emphasize the point.
It was my fault. But like, yeah, we all understand that experience, but it's different for everyone because just the words bacon double cheeseburger doesn't tell you what this one tastes like, doesn't tell you how long this one was cooked, doesn't tell you what it smelled like, doesn't tell you what it was like walking into this restaurant for the 15th time the day that you ordered it. And it doesn't describe the way that you felt when you were eating it.
Right.
There's no way for like words to be a perfect descriptor of reality. But when you're trying to work on things magically, you kind of have to find a balancing act with that, because if you only think about the stuff and you never like study through like writing it down and like journaling or whatever like that, or just in some way trying to articulate it, even if it's just for you, you lose hold of it. So like bacon double cheeseburger doesn't perfectly describe what you're about to eat, and never will. But if you don't write anything down, no one's gonna order it.
That's
shit.
Fucking cool.
Shit, man. Yeah, no, you brought that around in a good way. No, that's something that I've been. That's actually been like the central thesis of a lot of, you know, when people ask me like, you know, about the cultural like rifts and like just how fucked up everything is right now. I think so much of it does come down to that idea that I wish was more of a ubiquitous notion that everybody knew, like, hey, no, the menu is not the meal. Words don't mean the same thing to everybody, you know, and they've been fucking weaponized. And I'll watch a argument unfold, and I'll be like, are you guys like, are you pretending that you don't understand, or do you really not like realize that when you're saying this, it doesn't mean the same thing to somebody else? Like nobody's trying to like, everybody's just blowing right by that. It's like no. Like, make sure that you guys are on the same page. And I found that like kind of talking through, like you were saying, like talking through story being a more effective way to kind of really like take things that people think are concrete, absolute, factual, that nobody could mess up, and kind of talking about it in the framework of a story and through metaphor and stuff like that. And I found more, at least success with people kind of trying to understand each other by saying, that's like, it's more like this, or like, you ever had this and this is, to them it feels more like this. And I think that's probably how we're getting closer to, you know, where you guys understand each other and realize, oh shit, we are more similar, a lot more similar than we are different. And yeah, no, so that is that's the thesis of my fucking last like 2 years right there. And but that is I have not heard that before, but that is, well, I'm taking it and I'm not giving you credit, so
that's fine. Yeah. I mean, you can just delete this recording.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I mean, the first 30 minutes are garbage anyway. So.
Oh yeah.
Fucking unusable.
You really think I'm gonna send like, you know, Pussy Kazoo on the air? No way. This is the episode I'm gonna tell my mom to listen to for the first time. Be like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much why.
It's a good place to start.
Though what you were saying, that's pretty much why I am the guy that I am. The guy that a lot of my friends are just like, oh great, David's got something to say about this. You know, David's gonna fucking say something. Sarah, Jimmy's girlfriend, like the other day, we said something. I could say the sky is fucking blue, and David's gonna come over here and fucking tell me, well, actually, you know, just because it is my whole thing. I guess you could say, like, what I feel my natural calling to do out there is to be that guy, play devil's advocate, to like make somebody else see that if you're so set in your ways on something, I'm going to be the guy with this point of view, because for one, I've probably been in his shoes before, and I've seen it from many different angles, so I know that's like, fuck, when you're in it, like, it makes sense. They just either have not been there, or their emotions are just so fucking, you know, they're wild, so they're not going to really like allow themselves to really process what's going on and see it from their side or understand that side. And so, you know, I'm always doing that just to kind of get people to see, like, hey, there are these other fucking ways of looking at it or feeling it, or, you know, you're never going to be exactly on the same page about something, or what, you know, you were saying, like, you can never fully, completely explain it to where everybody's going to understand it and receive it as exactly that.
No, and I think that you're absolutely right, and I think that's super important, because like what you're really describing is just you're trying to reinforce empathy.
Yeah.
And like that's so fucking hard, because it's crazy easy
people
to
on both sides fucking hate you. They're just like, oh, there's that guy. No matter what. Because I'll go on this side and I'll do it, you know, for everybody, and people are just like, you, and then they assume I'm like, no, I never said that. So I'm like, and I was like, I'm on this side realizing I'm that annoying guy. Yeah, like you're like, you're that guy you didn't like this one time, or probably ever.
But like,
but you gotta do it. It's just a weird fucking thing.
You have to do it, and like, there's definitely times where like you can like spot like a losing fight that you should just be like,
oh yeah,
I'll just let you keep being that way, I guess.
Yeah,
I just don't need to call you anymore, I suppose.
Yeah,
but like, it's really important to like try
your best to, like, you know, do the things that, you know, will have a stronger benefit in the long run if it goes well. You know, that's the way I look at it. And I also look at it this way too. I think that for every type of movement towards, you know, progress and, you know, evolution, like, you know, we're trying to figure out some sort of system to make it work. But to make it work, there's so many different parts to a system. You don't just have one way of going about it. So, like, you know, if people, to make something happen, I think, like, you know, protesting, or, you know, people that go to create legislation to like focus on that for one is a certain type of person's you know, skill set. Like, certain type of people are good at that sort of thing. Not everybody is, but if everybody tries to be good at that one thing, these people that aren't good at it are gonna fuck it up a lot more than they're gonna help it. But these people can be good at something else. These people can serve the other part of the function. You know, they can also go over there and work on the people that we really shouldn't be, you know, because a lot of times people that get so involved in their, you know, their minds are going and they're just so wrapped up in it because they're, you know, working hard at one thing. It's hard for them to have time to go out of their way to try to change the mind of somebody who thinks so fucking, you know, far off from them. People, I often hear it like, oh, I don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. We need to make this happen now. And it's like, well, you know, that's the kind of reason why it's just been built up so long, because not enough people are focusing on this. Even though we should have this focus here, there needs to be more of this focus to make, you know, as much of a fucking change as you can. It's not the idea that you're ever going to change all their minds, because realistically we know that's not going to happen, but we need to learn how to fucking enjoy pushing that rock up a hill, you know, and just keep getting it a little bit further and further.
No, and you're absolutely right. And like that's, you know, there's no like one size fits all like view of the world. And yeah, like you're trying to talk to other people, not necessarily to get them to agree with you, but just to understand you is, you know, super fucking important. There's that what's his name? Dostoevsky. He said there's nothing easier than condemning an evil man and nothing more difficult than trying to understand him. Like, it's so fucking easy to just think people are evil and then call it a day.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so easy and it feels great because once you get to call someone evil, you're like, yeah, fucking, that guy's evil. And that makes me good for knowing he's evil.
Yes.
And it's a fucking like self-feeding system where like the more I call someone else evil, the more good I am by pointing out that they're evil.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to just ask them why they're feeling that way and try to understand it. Like, I'm not going to try to, in any way, endorse, like, truly abominable attitudes. But there are so many attitudes that, like, keep people apart, that people scream at each other about, that if you just sat down and had, like, a real fucking conversation for, like, half an hour, you'd probably realize that you're more similar than you're different.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying anything new or
100%.
brave about this.
Yeah.
But like,
But people need
it bears repeating.
But people need to hear it more and more because we get focused on, like I said, fighting the bad, which we have to. We have to fight the bad. We do need to combat the bad. But in other areas, like I'm saying, you know, the best defense can sometimes be a good offense. And you know, like it's just like any type of company or you know, like an auto dealership or something, or a car company. You know, you need the people that are gonna fucking design it, a car. You're gonna need the people to fucking build the car, and then you're gonna need the people to sell the car. It's never just like, oh, I did all of it by myself.
Well, I'd say we are like this like singularity. You know, it's this hive mind. It's a single organism that is this, and I think we thrive so much on story, like we were saying earlier. You know, and I think that narrative does kind of make it so easy for it to, you know, for there to be a good and a bad, and to be positioning yourselves as either ones. But you're right, we all have our roles to play, and like it's almost like a Taoist thing, you know. Yeah. Struggle is what makes life. It is existence and stuff like that, you know. And so even the bad people, like they can have a redeeming story. Like fucking what is one quality that I shit on movies for all the time, you know, especially like superhero movies or something like that. It's like a one-dimensional straight evil character, but like the real ones are where you can understand where you're coming from and why ideologies are different. I mean, that makes for, you know, if we are so narrative driven, that makes for a better story, you know. And when there is understanding, like, yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll ever truly be calm. And do we? Yeah, we're never going to. I don't know that we're ever going to like fully get past the point where we find someone who disagrees with us and then don't have the gut reaction to just say that they're bad and wrong.
But this is like my favorite reason why I love, you know, Lord of the Rings so much. It's the allegorical nature of it, where they have fucking obviously an evil force, like, you know, just like negative energy, you know, and that's like, you know, Sauron and fucking the orcs and goblins that are clearly evil. Like, it's pretty easy. But then you have all these other, you have the dwarfs and the elves who fucking just don't fucking like each other, you know, they just fucking hate each other, and they're brought together with the humans to fucking, you know, and hobbits and all the other creatures to fucking defend and fucking take out Sauron and shit. But that, and then it's like, but this thing that happens every so often, you know, because they always tell tales in the beginning of like the battle that fucking, you know, killed the beast and he lay dormant for all this time, and now he's like rising to power.
Some sort of like, you know, great unifying
how
evil.
That power can corrupt. You know, let's be all good and evil. It's you know, staring long into the abyss.
And like, all right, here's my hot take, and you can call me wrong for this.
Oh man, this guy.
I don't fucking like a story like that. I don't fucking like the idea that we need to have like a unifying evil to get everyone to be fucking decent to each other. I get that why that's a thing, but people who advocate that sort of thing, you want the exact fucking reason why I don't like that? Fucking read Watchmen. Ozymandias, who fucking murdered billions in order to unite everyone against an evil. That's wrong.
Yes.
People need to be better because the goal is being better, not because we've got to kill Not because we've got to fucking destroy Sauron, or because there's a fucking alien invader from outer space, or because we all hate Trump, or because the fucking McRib isn't in my area. You need to just be better because better's the goal.
Yes.
It certainly is a way of looking at it that I was not looking at it that way, but I see where you're coming from now.
I've pushed back on that idea too, because like so much what so often gets when you talk about things like on such a grand scale as Ozymandias, billions dead, like at that number it just becomes a statistic, and you lose the humanity, you lose like the people involved, you lose everything that it is. And you talk about, I mean, this happens throughout history. We talk about Genghis Khan. It's not about, I mean,
yeah, at a certain point when you're reading up on Genghis Khan, you're not even like upset over the murders. You're just like, wow, and he got Russia too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to me. I think through time loses that, but it's important not to. I think that's something that we should be like striving to hang on to when we can.
Like I understand the idea of like everyone like setting aside their differences so that they can be the good against the evil, but like
well, I think that's definitely what Tolkien was trying to represent at the time. I don't think that there was a lot of stuff that had happened, until more recently that would probably make us realize that definitely is the way we should go now. Like at this point,
what strikes me about that and so much of things kind of in that same ballpark is that it's easy, It's kind of lazy. It doesn't ask too much of, everybody involved to really dig deep and do something that is like, truly, truly difficult. I mean, I think there is.
Do you not know how fucking difficult it was for Frodo to get up there? You fucking bastard! You are so insensitive.
No, I'm talking about the true to wait for some cataclysmic event and for a lot of people to die in order to
not be a fuckhead.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? A lot less people would be dead if you were just to not be a fuckhead.
Yeah, but it kind of. This is an unpopular.
I'm saying
opinion,
I'm just saying it's.
No, we're hashing
hard.
it out here, David. Yeah. I want to hear it
because, as much as I agree with you, and people are trying. They're trying to do that as best they can. The people that are trying, and the people that are not. Well, what can you do at that point if you're yelling and you're telling and you're doing all of these things and they're just not doing it? At what point do we just say is this probably? And I'm not saying that we should just let it happen. That's not what I mean. But understanding that this might just be something that has to happen by nature every so often. Fractal. I'm
acknowledging it is very effective. And if a situation like this pop up like that, of course, make lemonade.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I don't think it's not like something that I'm proud of humanity for coming together and all this.
Sure.
Why couldn't you make a world that does not allow these things to kind of happen in the first place?
Why couldn't we just all be a little bit more like Mr. Rogers without waiting for a disaster to happen?
Yeah, I think it takes actual content of character to not have these things come up in the first place, and that is a thankless and heroless job. It doesn't make for a good story.
All good stories are shitty. They're all bad now. I don't think that's most stories. A little bit. That's pretty much all the fucking stories.
Yeah.
So let's just fucking, we're done with them.
Stories are stories, and it takes some bravery to not need them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that needing them is the right word, though. I definitely don't feel like I need it as much as the fact that I could take the good part away from it, and that's all I really need.
Yeah.
Whether or not, because I still do wholeheartedly believe, of course we gotta be good together. We shouldn't have to wait for that thing. But I still don't think that watching it is bad. I wouldn't watch that and get the negative aspect of what you're talking about. That I wouldn't be limited to just saying, well, we have to wait for the big fucking disaster to come. My point was that I liked it because of the fact that it did bring them together, one way or the other.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, and I don't think that. I don't think that either one of us can say that.
It's not shooting down your idea. That's that's the more practical. That is the way things are, and that's the way things will probably end up working out. I'm advocating for something that is not well thought of, and I know is not going to take hold. But I think it's the difference between you can't any. Oh shit! Any shitty just imagine the biggest racist yokel that you can think of, and they're gonna live a lot of their life in a way that is making it harder for let's say a minority for Mexicans or something like that. But if they found oftentimes there's people who will if they saw somebody in a A little bit less racist than I was thinking.
Hold
I'm sorry,
on.
this thing's going off the rails here. But
I was gonna say, isn't yokel a racist term?
It actually is.
Yokel is like a racist term. It's like saying like hillbilly, right?
Was hillbilly racist?
Hillbilly?
Yeah, why is it
Hillbilly's
racist?
racist.
Why is it not racist?
Oh, okay, well then that's racist. Sorry.
I'm just saying, like, it's just if we're gonna.
Oh, okay. No, I'd never had somebody call me on that. But yeah, like those people, like when it comes to like the actual heroism, you know, it like people will stop to like rescue somebody from like a river if they're like drowning or something like that. But you know, will they? But they'll live the rest of their lives in ways that like oppress them because they don't have to see it in ways that are not there. There's no, you don't get to be a hero. You don't get a story out of it. You know, and I'd say that is like. That part takes a lot of courage too, to do the little things that you know nobody's going to see and nobody's going to give you any kind of props for. Nobody's going to give you any recognition. But to do those and live your life in that way, I think
I do like stories like that, like what you're saying. That is a good way moving forward to create more stories like that where people just do acts of kindness out of the goodness of their heart.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I actually had this idea the other day that we as a culture should start making it socially acceptable to be unbearable braggarts when you do good things. Yes. Because right now it's really like kind of shitty and like it's a social faux pas to be like, I donated this much to charity, no big deal. That sort of thing. Like nobody likes that guy. But if we as a culture just started celebrating the shit out of that guy.
I do see that. I'm starting to see a shift. More and more people are doing that. I want
people to be like, oh man, I just fucking don't, like, I want some like super wealthy guy to be like, I donated $1 million to fucking something or other. And then another fucking like cocky billionaire to be like, yeah, well, I donated $10 million. Suck my charitable dick.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I want everyone on every level to just be like, yeah, I helped an old lady cross the street today. And I'd be like, yeah, well, I fucking pushed a car out of traffic today. Suck a dick.
Yes. See, I've been all for that, man.
I want everyone to be just like savagely, aggressively competitive about being the nicest person they can. I want empathy and generosity to be the thing with which we just really flex nuts about.
It works. I've seen it within the community, our friends. There's fucking people that do that all the time. And in the beginning, like, you might think, like, some people might probably read it and assume that. But when more and more, I see more and more people, like, doing that little, like, you know, taking, you know, bragging about doing simple things like giving a homeless person, you know, a sack lunch or something like that. And everybody's just like going on and commenting and getting excited. And then you see more and more people doing it. I used to be like, are they really doing that or are they just saying it? But I'm like, no, they probably are. And even if they're not, they're still getting more and more people to fucking want to do it.
Remember the fuck out of a soup kitchen. Like, I don't care.
Remember the thing I was saying earlier about magic? About how maybe it's happening because you're or maybe it's happening because it's magic? Maybe they're volunteering at a soup kitchen because they want everyone to know how great they are and they're only doing it for selfish reasons. Or maybe they're doing it because they give a shit. But at the end of the day, who gives a shit?
Exactly.
Just do the right thing.
Oh my God.
Even if your heart's not in it.
Yep.
Like the fucking ice bucket challenge, man. It was like, they just want attention. I'm like, they also like raised like $100 million for ALS. And, and like cured a bunch of shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Let them do it. You should be allowed. We should not be shaming people for bragging. You know?
Yeah. Do you think that like Ryan Seacrest let a fucking assistant pour a bucket of ice water over his beautifully manicured head because he really gave a shit about ALS? No, he did it because he had to do it. But guess what? That still raised a shitload of money.
I legit thought we were like, wait, what did I not hear about Ryan Seacrest? His assistant. I thought this story was going in a total different direction. That's not.
So wait, I'm not arguing at all, because I think that I know that it raised a lot of money, but how did it raise money? I'm like, I just don't even know. Like, how did pouring a bucket over their? Did they have to go by likes and stuff?
If you didn't want to do it, if you didn't want to like post it over there, you're supposed to donate $10 to like ALS research.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it works.
So basically, the people that did it are fucking assholes. Or no, they're raising awareness.
A lot of people did both. Yeah, it was to raise awareness. It was like you can either raise
that actually is fucking
or donate
genius.
Money.
Then that's I never really like
people who are assholes who just did not participate at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I like vaguely saw it because at that time when that was going on, I really wasn't even like paying attention or like on social media at all. So I just don't really know the whole thing.
Speaking of bragging, Jesus Christ.
You know.
Look at fucking David, able to not be on social media every 20 minutes.
Exactly. No, that's not the case now. It's fucking terrible. It's back. That's one thing that I faced is always going to be a thing for me. Like, I'm going to go on that roller coaster and just be like on my phone all the time.
Man, you know what's been great? I have cut Facebook down so fucking much. Like, I still do Instagram because, you know, fun pictures, whatever. But, like, fucking, I stopped fucking reading Facebook and, like, going through people's posts because at a certain point, I was on Facebook for, like, half an hour one day. And I'm reading through it, and for the 1,000th time, I thought, every single post I've read has made me mad. Why am I still reading this?
Yeah, it's fucking
These
true.
are technically people I like.
Yeah.
These, I call them friends.
Yeah.
I hate every simpering, stupid, self-aggrandizing fucking word that's dripping out of their mouths right now. And not because they're wrong, and not because I disagree with them or because they're bad people, but because I'm so tired of reading other people's opinions and comparing them to my opinions constantly. And looking at other people's life and comparing it to
You're
my life
making me
constantly.
think, and I don't like it.
No, it's not even that.
No,
it's just
it's
like
like-
there's a certain level of comparison between yourself and others and your opinions and others that's healthy.
Yes.
But if it's all your, if it's
Yeah.
like a huge chunk of
You
your
get sick.
entertainment or your idle time, it's gonna make you fucking bug nutty.
Yeah.
Like
Makes you
Alan Moore.
makes you stressed. No, what I mean by it makes you think, I meant it like when you, for me, when I get really stoned and I'm at work and like I start to think too much, I start to get like almost like ulcers and shit. Like I start to just have like
don't think too much at work.
major. Like, I know, right?
Work's the last place you
Yeah,
should
really.
be thinking.
Yeah, thinking too much, just fucking like in my own head about something completely different and like anxiety and shit. Yeah, there you go.
No, absolutely. And like I would fucking go on Facebook and, you know, I've got very libertarian leaning politics and things like that. So I don't necessarily agree with most Californians, you know?
Yeah.
And man, I would just see something come up after like some crisis in the news and things like that and be like, oh, I love you. I really love you. I can't talk to you about this. I'm going to read this and it's just going to burrow into my head and I'm just going to hate everything that's ever happened in my life because I'm now focusing on this thing that is really not that big of a difference between us because it's never going to affect any actual social interaction in our
Yes.
lives. But all I'm going to do when I see your face is think like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
What
And
is
that's
this-
not fucking healthy.
Yeah,
What is this masochistic tendency that we all have? Like, I cannot help but click on the comment section of so many things, even though I know there is
That's your
nothing
problem, man.
of
You're
value.
putting stress on yourself a lot with those comment
Why do
battles.
I do
though.
that?
I don't know.
Why do I do
I think
that?
you
Don't
need to
do it,
eliminate
man.
that, and then you'll feel a lot better.
Oh no,
about
just like
shit.
no, it's the crazier ones to me. Like the behavior that I have no explanation for is that I will read a comment section on public like Washington's you know Wall Street Journal articles and stuff like that.
Why would you do
Washington
that
Post-
to yourself?
Yeah. And I'll just be like, you know what? Like, yeah, all right, Gavin Newsom, let's see how your comment section looks on this thing. And it's just like, nope. And I know what's going to happen every time I open
It's
it
just
up.
the human condition.
Yet I still.
You want to be outraged
know.
about stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I never interact. I don't yell at anybody. I'm just like, this is not what my
It's
time
the
to do.
it's just that you're just
It's outrage
curious.
porn is
Still-
what it is.
Yeah, maybe that's
You're
it.
trying to get
Maybe that's
pissed
it.
about something because it releases some chemical in your brain.
But you know,
I don't think he's
I
trying
I
to
have
get pissed. I think
actually-
that it's like this subconscious thing. It's like you're not supposed to do it. It's like I know I shouldn't do whatever.
I think
I'm not going to
it's-
say it, and then I
think
do
it is.
anyways.
It is a slot machine. It's a like serotonin slot machine in there because sometimes I'll see something that like normally I'm like, this is usually just a hot like garbage tire fire, and I open it and things are like positive and supportive. Like the one time out of 20, like people are agreeing. I'm just like, woo, like that gets me like through the day a little bit more, But that's a Skinner box thing. It's like the rat starves itself because it just keeps hitting
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
lever waiting for the food to come out, and it's bad. But I think I've actually started to get a lot of it like out of my system. I only spend like an hour and a half a day on Twitter instead of 9.
Man.
I just a lot of times I will just like let shit go. I'll see some dumbass shit and I'll be like, you know what? I don't need to say anything.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm gonna just chill and move on with my life.
Just let it go, man.
Let it go, and it doesn't make you complacent or indifferent.
Yeah, no, I reached this pit of unhealthy, of unhealthiness and stress about it. And then as I felt like I was doing more and like actually learning more, things were getting better. I was like, you know what? No, it's not helping. It's not helping me. So I think I did finally actually strike a pretty decent balance, and knowing kind of like when to pick.
We gotta take care of our health first and foremost, man. Because I've been hearing stories about people like in younger and younger just dropping fucking.
I've been hearing about teenagers growing tits.
Yeah.
Fogs gay.
Fucking Facebook.
Titty teenagers and fucking aneurysms. It's just crazy. It's a crazy fucking world out there that we live in. You just can't.
I just got this strong urge to just Costanza out of this one because that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And we're at an hour.
Yeah.
And I know it's past midnight. I know you gotta be up early. I know you're trying to.
Oh yeah, I gotta be up early
too.
Yeah.
So
the moral of this episode is stay off social media, write in your journal, or you're gonna grow tits and die.
Unless you want tits. So.
And magic.
And look, if you want...
And that's okay.
And you know what? But the beautiful rockin' tits that you really want, you're not going to get from Facebook.
No.
You really need to set that intention, put it out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You need to,
read some Robert Anton Wilson, burn some incense, drop acid, talk to David Bowie's ghost, live in the desert, eat hummus.
I've done... a lot of those things in the last couple weeks.
And you're a pretty relaxed guy.
Yeah.
So.
with an amazing set of tits.
Yes.
So. You have rockin' tits,
dude,
man. I've seen some
pretty
tits.
Nice.
You're fucking nailing it.
I know. Man. I got them the right balance.
Yeah.
The right amount. Yeah.
Your tits were
it's a little heavy on the right.
As I'm wearing this shirt with the
I think it's just the left.
The shirt with the tits popping out. Yeah. This really rad shirt I was gifted.
I want to color that shirt.
That's what I kind of like.
Oh, what it's for?
That's what I'm going to go to the bar and just have people do right now.
Just color on your tits.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyways.
That's one of my favorite pastimes too.
This was a really fun episode. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much.
You're by far our most visited guest, right?
Third? Yeah. 3 visits? I think my brother has 3
so by
visits.
far.
Yeah, he has 3. You have 3.
Sibling rivalry. Well, he's gonna fucking leave the state. Fuck him. I'll be on a bunch.
Yeah. And then we'll just blow right past that.
He's not gonna listen to this.
No.
He's not gonna hear me say this. Fuck you, Aaron, you fucking pussy.
No, he
Freckles look stupid.
He'll come by and be like, he'll be like, I listened to your podcast the other day. And you'd be like, oh shit. Because he does actually listen to them. So he'd be like,
good.
Yeah.
He's got a little treat for him at the end there.
Aaron, I want you to fucking text me the second you get to this part of the episode.
Seriously.
I love you. Don't leave California. It's a really dumb idea.
Agreed. You got anything to promote coming up? I mean, we've got the thing this weekend, but this will come out on Thursday. So
I got a busy
any time
schedule.
travelers, go check out.
Sure, yeah. So Midsummer Scream is this weekend. I've got Scare LA, which is going to be at the Los Angeles Convention Center. That's going to be at the end of August, and then I've got Long Beach Comic Con again, like second weekend of September, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. And you can find my shit on Instagram at Crude Inc. I'm launching a new website soon that's going to have all of my goodies on there. But in the meanwhile, you can buy any of my neat stuff on Etsy. That's about where I do all my stuff, is just Instagram.
All right.
Crude Inc. Crude like oil, ink like incorporated.
Not
like Murder Inc.
Not like a pen.
And not like a haircut. That's not the term.
That's not
crude. Yeah, no.
Wow.
Yeah. No, see, I told you guys we should have ended 2 minutes ago. Would have saved me from that one.
That was perfect.
Yeah,
Don't cut it out. Don't you dare cut it out.
Damn it.
Where can we get you at, Phil?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? If you guys are interested about little old me, what I'm doing day today, you guys can check me out on Twitter at Phil Nobody Cares, and you can swap that around at Nobody Cares Phil on Instagram. I don't post any, like, nothing goes on my Instagram thing. It's all Instagram story shit. Like,
I don't check the Instagram stories as often as I want to, but when you were posting on your Instagram, I found it very funny.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've had the in-person reaction that you deserve for that, but I enjoyed it.
You know, with the stories, I like it because I don't feel like I need to put any kind of, like, production value or effort into it. And so I will, like, I've been, like, when I'm on Twitter, I'm like, you know what, I got a new phone. And it, like, actually works. So Instagram actually works for me now. So I started using it more. and like I'm just like taking screenshots and stuff like that. I'm just like actually finding a way to make what I'm thinking about and just seeing, even if I'm not actually out doing something. Like I do that, but then I get lazy. Like I just went to Comic-Con and like made videos and shot a bunch of pictures. And I have so many pictures from all these things that I've done. Have not posted fucking one of them on Instagram. But yeah, I'll get around to it. I'll get around to it. Yeah,
don't worry about it.
People need to know.
You
that,
thinking
like,
about it? Don't think about it. Just fucking post that shit. I want to
see
it.
Like
your life's interesting and fun. Share it with me, Phil.
Oakleys make people racist. And I need everybody to know this.
That's
and
irrefutable.
I have an ongoing Instagram story dedicated to following up on this.
Yeah, if you wear Oakleys, you're either a fucking Marine Corps reservist or racist.
It started as a joke, but man, every fucking day I see another viral video of a white person in Oakleys calling the cops on a black person for being black. You know. Fucking Ving Rhames just like got like
I heard about the Ving Rhames thing.
Ving Rhames just like got like
we need to end this show. No more stories.
What?
Sorry.
I have to hear about this.
Somebody
right
called
afterwards.
the cops on Ving Rhames for being black. The cops like went into his house and like held him at gunpoint.
Yeah, one of his neighbors called the cops and they're like, "There's a black man in my neighbor's house," and the black man was Ving Rhames, and it was Ving Rhames' house, and he was in his fucking basketball shorts. He's like, "Why?
I'll bet you it's 11 p.m. at night, but I'll bet you if I look this up right now, wearing Oakleys.
Oh god damn it!
I promise you, man. I promise you. Anyways,
I think there's something more to that. I think
this is where the title card comes up. The end? Question mark.
Could it be?
David, where can we find you online?
Well, you can find me creating conspiracy theory movies and making up a bunch of stuff
and posting the dope collages that I make for you.
Yeah, that too at Hoodrat Stuff with 3 F's, or follow the art of myself and all my friends at Psychedelic Lions Den, psychedelic_lions_den.
And while you're mashing all these follows and stuff like that, make sure to subscribe to this very podcast to make sure that it winds up on your phone every single Thursday, whether you like to see it on Spotify, on Slacker, on Dancer, on Donner, on Blitzen, like however you get your podcasts. You know, go ahead and mash that subscribe, leave us some comments, tell a friend about it. Follow us at Let It Bleed Cast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, dealer's choice. And that is all.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and thanks again, Jeff, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. We'll let you get to bed now. As always out there, let it bleed.
Oh, man, I can't wait to get on this Tenga egg.